Hello, welcome to Marriage Underdogs Radio Show. I'm your host, Chris A. Matthews, and we have some phenomenal guests on today. I would like to introduce Brian K. McNeill and Lisa Santiago McNeill, the Empowerment Duo. Awesome, awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Woo, thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
coming
much for
on.
having us on.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
coming
having
on.
us on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Now, I always like to start this question off with my couples. Give us just a brief synopsis of how you guys came together in marriage.
I'm the sales confidence coach, and I was doing a seminar in Lisa City called Sell Your Services Like a Superstar. Now, I had met Lisa on the phone and I had met her online, but I hadn't met her in person yet until this day of this event. And on the day of the event, I was there early setting up, and the first person to show up was Lisa. She came in. I heard her heels before I saw her presence on the linoleum in the foyer because I was in the conference room. And she walked in the room beautiful. She had a tall mohawk or short skirt heels, beautiful legs out, beautiful face out. And I was so impressed with her right away. I knew who she was from SAR, but so when I shook her hand, I ballroom dance. I shook her hand, I done spun the move, kissed her on the cheek, and spun the lady out, and she fell right into the dance move. And right after that, she realized what was going on. This man's out of town. He's by himself. He's setting up for a workshop. Yeah. He's about to do a 3-hour workshop. So she kind of like took control right away. So she kind of like started coordinating. I had hired a person to help take tickets and help people come in. And when that person came in, Lisa managed her, and she kind of like became the director of my workshop. Wow. And then I was given 2 the same day. So after the first workshop, we went to lunch together. She came back for the second 3-hour workshop, and she ran that one too. So, and then I took her to dinner. But the first day I met her, she became my helpmeet, and she probably became my wife the first day I met her.
That's special. Whoa, that's special. It sounds like you knew, and one of the types of therapy I work with couples with is emotional focus, EFT, and they talk about marriage as a dance. So when you gave that description of a dance just now, you danced your way into each other's hearts, right? So that's beautiful.
Actually, that was one of the ways that we kind of fell in line with one another. But even before his event, like he said, we had never met before, but we had talked on the phone and begun to process promoting his event and supporting his event together on it. But that was what I do, but he was not my client. So after a certain period of time, I had gotten tired, not tired, but like, you're not my client, you're not paying me or anything. And I'm like, okay, I've already done all of this work for free. And so I had to figure out a way to sort of transition to, okay, have a great time. And it didn't actually work out that way, because what I said to him is what I say to my clients is, at this point in the marketing and promotion of your event, it was 8 days before the event, I said, right now we start praying for your event. We start praying for the success of your event, thinking in the back of my mind that that was going to be it for Brian. And what he said to me was, all right, tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock.
I said 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Every day, 7 a.m.
And he started calling me at 7 a.m. every day. And we started praying together strictly for the success of the event.
I love the fact that you guys immediately involved God into the relationship. And I have that vision of the triangle where you have God at the top and then you two at the bottom points. And then the intentionality. A lot of times couples will think that everything has to be spontaneous, but intentionality, to be able to have that structure to pray every morning, is a testament of the discipline you both have and the desire to seek out one another. I want you to continue on because you guys are in business together as the Empowerment Duo. Share some tips for couples that are either thinking about going into business together or who may already be in business together. What's worked for you guys, and how can they apply those same tips to potentially be as successful as you two are?
Wonderful question. You want to go first or should I?
Well, the first and primary tenet of our marriage relationship comes before the business relationship. And I think that that's what helps everything else. Absolutely. And that is to seek to understand before being understood. So
say that one more. Say that one more time. Seek to understand.
Seek to understand before being understood. There are conversations that happen that sometimes arguments occur and they're not real arguments. You're actually on the same side. You just don't understand what the other person is talking about.
Yeah.
So seek it. Maybe you don't understand what's going on. Maybe you don't understand the etymology of the argument for the other person. Maybe you just don't understand where they're coming from. Let's get that first.
Okay. Seek to understand before being understood is the first principle, because if there's a dispute, both parties have to assume that the other side is at least partially right, or there'd be no reason. You have to assume that. But for couples going into business together to be successful, that tenet matters a great deal. Mutual respect matters a great deal. You got to respect the other person can carry the ball. They can do what they assigned to do, and you know they can do it. But the one more thing I want to say about this too, because they ask this question all the time: how can you spend so much time with your wife? How can you work with her all day and then be with her all evening and sleep with her all night, every night, and working together? How do you do it? And here's my answer, and I think it's the best one I have. I don't look at it as if I'm working with my wife. I look at it as I'm working with my best friend.
Wow.
That's how I look at it.
And that's special because when you look at your different core tenets, seek to understand before seeking to be understood, right? And then you talk about having mutual respect. And I love the fact, Lisa, you were describing sometimes you could be in an argument and you're saying the same thing, but you just don't understand each other. And it looks like, from what I'm hearing you both say, once again, you've taken the time to develop a foundation that can support understanding each other. And there had to have been a level of maturity there. And can you share about what it looked like to work on yourselves? Because you both in our pre-show meeting mentioned that you had previous marriages. So what was that transition from a marriage that may not have lasted to now having what Lisa calls the last marriage? Like, this is my last marriage, right? Can you share that transition? Because some of our listeners may be in a second marriage, or they may have had previous marriages, and that once again is under the underdog theme. So talk about what that transition looked like for you guys that set you up for each other.
Yeah, self-help was really, really important. My first marriage was almost 20 years long. So understand that there still had to be some understanding that I had to be responsible for at least some portion of that marriage's not surviving, right? Accountability was necessary. So that self-help caused me to be on a journey of finding out what my triggers were, what was my purpose, what was my underlying drive, what was actually my compelling forces, and doing that self research, that looking into self, that all the coaching that I did, all the classes and all of the prayer and everything else that I did was to find the best version of me. Not the best version of me for him or for anybody else, the best version of me for me.
Right. Yeah. So you got you together first, and you built a relationship with you, and the self relationship was a template because you learned how to love yourself, and then you were able to apply those same characteristics into loving Brian. Brian, share about your experience in that transformation.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Yeah.
Because I was married too to a great woman who's a great friend of both of ours now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we were great friends. They call themselves sister wives. All we need one wife. I can tell you that now. They're great friends. But it was refreshing. Between the two wives, I had 10 years of being a single man. Okay. Now, my last wife, she did not understand how to be the wife of an entrepreneur or a salesman. She even said to me, I wish there was a book about how to be the wife of a salesman, because I don't know how to do it.
That to me.
Yeah, she didn't know how to do it. But when I got with Lisa, and it was 10 years between these two women, I got with Lisa, I didn't have to tell Lisa what it was like to be an entrepreneur or go for something, because she was already one. She was already operating in her gift. She was already earning money through favor and through delivering something. So I don't have to, if we have a bad day or entrepreneurial ups or downs or something rugged, there's no question she's going to completely understand it because she's doing it too. It was fresh. It was like clean water.
Yeah, now go back and list a couple of those characteristics, because for those that are listening, I want them to just get a couple points on what it's like to be married to an entrepreneur. Because you said your wife didn't understand, and that needs to probably be one of the next books out, right? So talk about what those points are for you as an entrepreneur that Lisa may understood quickly.
She understood completely. An entrepreneur like us, okay, we work without a net. Okay. That means every dollar we bring in is because we produce something, okay, or got some favor or something, or been hired to do something. No money comes in unless we do something. Okay.
Nothing is by accident. There's no payday.
That's right.
You make the payday.
So everything has to be very, very intentional.
So security was what I'm hearing then.
Right?
Or the lack of, or this perceived security.
I don't need security for me. I want an opportunity. I don't like, well, as a wife, she wants some security, but I don't need security. I just need opportunities for me to do my thing. Gotcha. But understanding that to be true, we both understand going into the game, there are some seasons better than others. Okay. Right. There are. There's some, it doesn't stay summertime all the time. The winter comes, but it don't stay winter all the time either. So understanding that, you know, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat and supporting each other through it all, I think that's what matters greatly. Overall, it's a much, much better life to me. The entrepreneurial path is much better overall. But it is
control your fate a little bit more.
Huh?
You get to control your fate a lot more.
Yeah, and you get a chance to be who you really are, which is really all I ever wanted to be. You're free to be me. You know, that's it.
Yeah, and it sounds like when you got with Lisa, she had that understanding a little bit quicker than your prior marriage.
Because she was doing it.
And because she's been doing it. Yeah. Now, you know, Lisa, when you think about from the wife perspective, let's say that you're speaking to a wife that may have a regular job and the husband is the entrepreneur. What are some tips you can provide those listeners that may not have the same understanding because they've chosen not to go down that same path, right? Like, how do we help those listeners out?
It's important that they remember that they participated in all the up times. And that when it's time for them to carry the weight or carry the ball as the entrepreneurial spice, come with the same vigor.
I don't think anybody's ever asked her that question before, at least not us together. That was a great question, homie.
I mean, the answer was solid.
And the answer was amazing too.
The answer was amazing. Yeah, you know, and you know, you talked about earlier accountability, and it goes back to a testament of that work that you did to understand what you needed and what you wanted. And I had on our show a couple weeks ago, we had a sex therapist, and she was saying how, for example, women and men in particular, but she was speaking to females, need to have the responsibility on what they need to feel gratified in a relationship. And I'm hearing it from an emotional perspective. Lisa, you knew what you needed emotionally. So at that point, Brian, it doesn't seem like he has to guess, right? Can you guys talk about creating expectations in the marriage where neither partner is having to guess or to read each other's mind? Because it sounds like everything's pretty open.
Communication. It is open.
That's our basic blessing. We both are communicators and we want to communicate. We want to talk it out. Okay.
But conscientious communication is probably a better word for it, because there are things you can say, oh, I'm just keeping it real, I'm just being real. But when you're saying something without considering how it might impact the other person, then you're actually a detriment to yourself, because you're not getting the response back that you're trying to elicit.
Yeah, you got
every communication is trying to elicit a response. But when you try to explain something that you want by tearing the other person down, as opposed to celebrating the times that they got it right or even almost right, you are more of a detriment to your ultimate goal, which is synergy. That's really what you wanted. You want there to be an even synergy going on.
Be together.
Absolutely. We are together, so why not be together happily?
Which leads me to the second tenet.
Yes.
The second tenet of my marriage is the 3 sales that we have to make every day. 3 sales I got to make every day.
Okay.
The first sale is you sell yourself on yourself. You look in the mirror. You remind that person has good, has value. They deserve their place where they are right now. They're contributing to the world. You have to remind yourself that constantly. That's the first step. You have to resell yourself on yourself every day.
So resell yourself on yourself.
That's the first part of it. It's three parts to it. Resell yourself on yourself every day. The second sale you got to make every day is, I have to sell Lisa that I'm worthy to be her husband. Okay. Every day. I have to do something or reveal something or contribute something to remind her or to earn the right to be her husband every day. I have to have something redeeming, a hug, a touch, a look, a glance, a conversation, a delivery, or something doing for her. But every single day, I have to re-earn the right to say I'm her husband because she's a prize.
I love that.
The third sale is out to the world that you have value, people outside your home. You're reselling them that what you're contributing is worth something. But I take those 3 sales every day, especially the second one, okay? Because you should resell. You have to deliver what you sold initially. And the way I deliver what I sold initially is to keep making that sale every day.
And I appreciate
I love that. I love that because just to recap, sell yourself on yourself, sell your spouse that you're worthy enough to be their spouse, and then sell to the world as well. Yeah. Now, with that second principle, I always talk about how I use the analogy of the old school movie Groundhog Day, how every day he had to fall in love with his wife again. And that creates, for me, marriage as a lifestyle. I look at my wife the same way you described that second tenet, making sure that every day it starts all over again, right? Yeah. Like some men and women for that matter might think, okay, if I give my wife all this today, then tomorrow it should be stored up. But it resets itself every day. And I love that. I love that tenet.
Yeah.
It does. It creates a bank. Although he does it every day, it creates a bank.
Of goodwill.
And it also creates, for me, the responsibility to always leverage or weigh that against whatever else is going on.
So let's say I say something wrong, but because I have enough goodwill
in the bank, I gotta say, wait a minute, this is not because of this particular situation. This could be a bad day, this could be a bad situation, this could be stress, but let me tell you what it's not. It's not me, because he's already shown me that he loves me. So now, if I respond like, okay, I know it's not me, how can we do this together? That creates a tighter bond. That restores and strengthens that bond because we know that there's no wedge that could be between us. It might not be great right now, but we're going to be, whatever we're dealing with it together.
No diggity. That's major.
It is.
You guys are putting on a master
right there. Yeah.
Man, you're putting on a master class right now because what I'm hearing you say, Lisa and Brian, is grace. And the grace comes by way of that emotional bank account. So when deposits add up, you have room for withdrawals, and the withdrawal might come by way of a bad day or a stressful situation, but you're not trying to just close the entire account.
No, exactly right.
Yeah, and instead, when you see the withdrawal, Lisa, I'm also hearing you say, at that point, you can shift the perspective on what do we need versus you over there. It's going back to that principle of us being together as we and not just me. I'm hearing us, not just I. And that is so important.
My wife is so attentive that she's narrowed it down. He probably needs, she calls it, she's not going to say it on your show, I don't think, maybe she might. Brian's 3 needs. If he's being grumpy, he's got one of these 3 needs.
Talk about it. What are Brian's 3 needs, Lisa?
He needs food. He needs fun, like maybe a cigar, and he needs the other F.
Food, fun, and free. Gotcha. This is ready. Yeah, we tend to target a Christian audience.
We'll keep it clean. Right. So no, he will. So the thing about grace is also a salve, because that response, that to snap that negative, that even yell that might come out of nowhere or whatever it is, that's a cut. It's a cut. It feels like a cut. And a cut will make you want to cut back.
Right.
But that grace is like like an immediate salve. It makes you go, ow, oh. It doesn't make you go right back, right? It
Right.
makes you realize that that cut is coming from a place of hurt. Because I don't have any history that cut was for me.
Right.
That's why it's so important that you treat your spouse carefully at all times, right? Because there should not be any question if it was deliberate or intentional.
Got you.
It should not. I shouldn't have to go to my girlfriend and says, he did it again and this happened again or anything like that, because I know that that's not his character.
Ooh, yeah.
That's
and
not
that's
his
beautiful
character.
right there. Yeah. So you're describing, you know, Brian's character. So you know the foundation of who that man is, and you're not questioning that when he has a bad day or maybe stressed out. And I love the fact that you're speaking to giving him grace and giving him patience and not attempting to just dissolve the entire relationship, because that can be detrimental for a lot of couples to even make threats like that. Because at that point, there's no stability when you feel like you don't have room to mess up. But at the same point, Lisa, you're describing the fact that Brian has added so many deposits into that bank account, it's easy to make a withdrawal every now and again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned a couple of times, you're so perceptive, Chris, and I appreciate it. The way we communicate and the value of our communication and the consistency of our communication. Lisa had to teach me that I could communicate with her. Okay. You know, I host a men's group and I've been hosting it for 10 years, twice a month. And one of the things that men fear the most about their women, and I call it a sting. Okay. They fear being stung by the woman. And I would have had the same fear. Like, baby, they're laying off people at the job right now. I don't know what's going on. And if she responds, if she could hear that, or if she responds like, damn it, you're always losing jobs. I don't know. I haven't lost my job yet. But he felt stung. He tried to talk to his wife and he got a sting. Or, baby, I just don't have any answers. I don't know what's going on with this month's bills. I've tried. I don't have an answer. I don't have it figured out. You're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to have everything figured out. He got stung again. So what happens is, if you keep stinging your man, he tells the woman less and less and less till he tells her nothing at all, and then the communication breaks down completely.
Absolutely.
But Lisa has taught me not to sting me, even if I'm not doing everything perfectly. And that opens me up to feel confident to tell her anything.
Yeah. But
That was
the
beautiful.
importance for that is because when you don't leave the communication open, communication is going to be open somewhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. So that's infidelity prevention right there, because
Absolutely.
Infidelity prevention.
Yeah, on both sides, right? If you don't keep the communication open, it's going to be open somewhere else. So make sure everything's flowing, right? You don't want those holes in the water pipe, because at that point you're gonna wonder where the pressure is at, right? Where my water pressure go? Well, you know, in a lot of marriages,
it's going there.
There ain't no water at all, right? So keeping the communication lines open and making sure that when your partner is coming to you, don't sting them. Because men in particular, from what I'm hearing you say, Brian, if we get stung too much, we end up not wanting to go toward our wife at all. So keeping a safe space to allow the flow of dialogue, to allow the flow of expression. That's good. That's good. I know we're about to be coming to an end, and I always like to make sure that our visitors have the opportunity to share about the current projects they're working on, their social media handles. How can people get in contact with you? Because you guys are doing some phenomenal work. And I'm a testament. You know, I've used your services from a sales perspective. Your coaching. So please share with everyone listening.
You've been a guest on our show.
Yeah, definitely been a guest as well. So please share all these amazing things so people can continue to be blessed and helped by your services.
The easiest way to get in touch with us is to go to the empowermentduo.com. theempowermentduo.com. You can find out more about Brian K. McNeill,
The Sales
the
Confidence
Sales
Coach.
Confidence Coach. You can find out
Mr. Santiago, the owner of Empowerment Publishing and Multimedia. You can also find out about our daily podcast. We host a podcast Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 9:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been doing this since October of 2016. We're in our 7th year of doing this for 7 years in a row, Monday through Friday. Lisa sat on my lap just like this with my arm around her, okay? That's how we do it every day. So, and our show is about personal conversations, business information, and spiritual inspiration. But the empowermentduo.com is got all our contact information, all of our books. Lisa's written 8 books. I've written 6. Yeah.
Wow.
She's written 8. I've written 6. And upcoming projects. I'm super excited about a lot of the things that we have going on. Praise God, we've both been getting blessed to get more and more speaking opportunities. This upcoming Saturday night, we're speaking in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Back to School Empowerment Showcase. That's Saturday night. Monday night, I'm speaking at an association's. I'm teaching them on how to sell. This past weekend, we were in Atlanta at the new Black Wall Street, where we did a presentation there on selling yourself and your services. Yeah. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a live webinar on Finish Strong, how to make the 4th quarter of your year the most profitable quarter of your year. And it's going to rock, okay? So all that information is available at theempowermentduo.com, or you can reach out. We're very easy to reach out. Look up Brian K. McNeill or Lisa Santiago McNeill, or reach out to Chris, because he'll know how to get in touch with us.
Absolutely. Hey, I just continue to be blessed every time I'm able to sit down with couples like yourselves who are learning daily, based on Brian's second tenet, how to fall in love over and over again. Mm-hmm. I also love the fact that you speak on certain principles, seeking to understand before being understood. And I just love your brand, the Empowerment Duo. It speaks to a collective bargain. I always share that the goal of marriage should be to have more together than what you would have had by yourselves. And you are a true testament and representative.
No doubt.
Right, definitely. So I've enjoyed this. We got to have you guys back on again.
Yeah, man. There's more stuff we want to say, but yes.
Definitely. I definitely want to have you guys back on again. I mean, we could do several hours, multiple part 1, 2, and 3s. So that might be in the works to do a part 2, because all of the nuggets and dimes that you dropped are going to help so many people listening. And for those tuning in, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And you've been listening to the Marriage Underdogs Radio Show podcast, hosted by Chris A. Matthews. Once again, I want to thank Brian K. McNeill and Lisa Santiago McNeill, the Empowerment Duo, for being on the show. And peace and blessings to everyone's listening. And I look forward to tuning in next. I hope that you look forward to tuning in next time.
Thank you
for
having us.